Hello everyone, and welcome to another installment of Fantastic Fives. This week we're counting down the top 5 kaiju in comics. Now, when you hear the word kaiju, the first images that probably spring to mind are of the many massive movie monsters you've seen over the years. But comics have a pretty monstrous collection of kaiju to pick from as well. Seriously, there are a lot. Too many really, and that's why you'll notice a few notable absences on this list. So we'll go ahead and give some props now. Titano, the Super Ape. King Kong with kryptonite vision is great, but he was already on our top 5 gorillas list. Giganto, aka Mole Man's monster from the cover of Fantastic Four #1. And finally, Godzilla. Look, we all know that he's not called the King of the Monsters for nothing. Any list the Big G is on, he's automatically going to dominate. So to keep things interesting, we'll just bow to his royal greenness now, and let the actual list be more of a surprise. Number 5, the cast of Kaiju Max. Technically, this is a little bit of a cheat, and if you're going to be a stickler about that kind of thing, we can narrow it down to just series protagonist Electro Gore. But either way, in just a few issues, Kaiju Max has already become a kaiju lover's dream come true. By taking character archetypes from giant monster movies and tokusatsu shows like Ultraman, and placing them in a maximum security prison setting reminiscent of HBO's Oz, creator Xander Cannon has found ways to subvert tropes of both into something that feels completely new, and yet familiar at the same time. Number 4, Devil Dinosaur. Number 4 on the list, but number 1 in my heart, is Marvel's fire-red, prehistoric mutant dinosaur. Devil Dinosaur first appeared in 1978 in the aptly titled Devil Dinosaur #1. Written, drawn, and edited by comics legend Jack Kirby. The story goes that Kirby created Devil Dinosaur because Marvel asked for a new book starring a dinosaur that could be turned into a cartoon. Never one to disappoint, Kirby delivered. Even though the series only lasted 9 issues, and the animated series never happened, the bright red pseudo-T-Rex and his proto-human pal Moon Boy were impossible to forget, and Devil Dinosaur has continued to pop up throughout the Marvel Universe over the years. Double D has teamed up with everyone from Spider-Man to Killraven, and fought everyone from the Hulk to Godzilla. He even finally made it into 2 different cartoons. Number 3, Jimmy Olsen, the Giant Turtle Man. Everyone's favorite Daily Planet photographer has been through a Justice League's worth of weird powers and transformations. Super speed, fire breathing, stretchiness, extra arms, and radioactivity, as well as turning into a werewolf, a Bizarro, and a Doomsday, just to name a few. But nothing was more memorable than Jimmy's time as a giant turtle man. First appearing in Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen #53 in 1961, by writer Jerry Siegel and artist Kurt Swan, Jimmy finds an enlarging ray created by an Atlantean criminal and, of course, has to screw around with it. Things get turned up to Silver Age awesome when Jimmy manages to hit a turtle and then himself with the ray and transforms into a gigantic green menace. He proceeds to start wrecking ships and bridges in the proud kaiju tradition, before Superman uses Brainiac's shrink ray to get Jimmy back to normal. Jimmy would return to his giant turtle man persona a number of times during the Silver Age, and modern creators have loved making subtle and not so subtle reference to it as well. Number 2, Frankenstein. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sure, Frankenstein is great, but what's he doing on a list of the top comic kaiju? That's some attitude you've got there. I thought we'd gotten to know each other enough over the previous entries for you to maybe trust me a little. See, even though when most people hear the word kaiju, they think of giant monsters or guys in rubber suits, like Godzilla and Gamera, kaiju actually translates to monster or strange beast, and creatures like vampires, werewolves, and the like are also kaiju. Now you're saying, great, but what does that have to do with Frankenstein? To which I say, man, you're really on my case today. What it has to do with Frankenstein is that while the world at large may know him best for his movies, and I guess some people recall that he came from a book, comic fans know that Frankenstein has had an amazing career in comics. DC's version from Grant Morrison's Seven Soldiers, Marvel's The Monster of Frankenstein, the more humorous versions by Dick Briefer, and by Archie Comics, Mike Mignola's Frankenstein Underground, and my personal favorite, Del Frankenstein. And for those of you still upset that a spot on this list wasn't taken up by a guy in a costume on a tiny set, Frankenstein appeared as a giant monster in the 1965 Toho film, Frankenstein Conquers the World. So there. Number 1, Fin Fang Foom. And Fin Fang finally, we come to Fin Fang Foom, aka he whose limbs shatter mountains, and whose back scrapes the sun. Kinda hard not to be at the top of the list with an alias like that. First appearing in 1961's Strange Tales number 89 by writer Stan Lee and artist Jack Kirby, Fin Fang Foom was one of a number of memorable Marvel monsters created in the years before they got into the superhero business. Originally thought to be an ancient Chinese dragon, in the 90s a flashback would reveal that Triple F was a shape-shifting alien from the planet Kakarana Thara, who had come to Earth in the distant past to conquer our world. As is often the case with conquer the world plans, though, it didn't work out and Fin Fang Foom just spent thousands of years sleeping instead. Occasionally he would wake up to fight communists, or the Hulk, or Iron Man, or even the Justice League of America once. And how could we forget that one time he got shrunk to human size and got a job as a chef? He's even appeared in 4 different Marvel animated shows and 2 video games. Not bad for a dragon in little purple pants. So there you have it, folks, our list of the top 5 kaiju in comics. Let us know what you think in the comments and be here again next week for another Fantastic 5. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Comics Alliance for more comic facts, and check out comicsalliance.com for more comic awesomeness.